Welcome to the T-Pac Arcade. Today's game is Gradius 2 for the Nintendo Famicom. In this 1988 shoot-'em-up from Konami, the Bacterian Empire strikes again, now under the leadership of the evil Gopher. But not the cute burrowing mammal. This Gopher is a big scary alien head from outer space. Gradius 2 is a bit of an anomaly among classic shooters, in that it approaches genre conventions so unconventionally. At its core, you've still got your standard gameplay. Shoot enemy spacecraft, dodge hazards in the terrain, upgrade your firepower, and blow up stage bosses. But things start to deviate beyond that. For example, like many shooters, Gradius 2 has a shrapnel dodging stage, but for some reason it's connected to a terrestrial volcano section with a completely different theme. Nothing egregious here, just abnormal, like breakfast and dinner foods mixed into the same meal. I like cereal and I like pasta, but I don't think I'd like cereal and pasta together. Also, like many shooters, Gradius 2 has mid-bosses, but instead of encountering them halfway through a level, they come directly before the stage boss, and not even on every stage. Again, nothing wrong with this, it just throws off the schedule a bit. Gradius 2 even has a speed tunnel section, but instead of emphasizing fast maneuvering through a set route, it has branching paths and even a sprinkling of enemies here and there. I appreciate how it isn't quite so frantic this way, but it twisted my expectations enough that I never quite felt up to speed. And one more thing of note. Like many shooters, Gradius 2 has a boss rush, but not only does it take place in the middle of the game rather than the end, each boss battle is unique instead of recycling previous fights from earlier levels. I'm certainly not complaining though. This way every encounter is a fun surprise, like the cameo from Salamander's brain boss and that crazy neuron planet thing that made the whole screen flash with lightning. That was some of the coolest stuff I've ever seen in a video game. And the same can be said about a lot of the visuals here. Gradius 2 showcases a ton of great graphic themes, like its iconic Inferno stuff with solar flares and fire dragons, mechanical stuff with the factory stage and the pink spider droid, galactic geological stuff with the crystal asteroids and crystal tentacle ship, alien vegetation stuff with the root tunneling section and grabby arm pods, the series staple Moai heads, and of course 80s biological horror stuff with fleshy intestine walls and Gopher himself, a creepy skinless face with exposed brain tendrils attached to the ceiling. It's the kind of abomination you know you want to blow up just looking at it. And the sound design is a triumph too. Heroic sci-fi chiptunes and immensely satisfying damage sounds that roll on and on when you've got a handful of option satellites just beaming a boss's weak points all at the same time. And not to mention my favorite audio quirk, the bit crushed voice samples that announce whatever power-up you just equipped. Laser, missile, option, laser! Which brings me to the most novel aspect of Gradius 2, the series staple upgrade system. Collecting power capsules cycles through selectable speed boosts, missiles, lasers, satellites, and shields, so you can customize your loadout as you go. But this game expands your options by letting you pick the same upgrade multiple times for more potency, and even presents a few different loadout schemes at the start of the game. They're mostly the same, but some swap out lasers for ring cannons and two-way shots for tail guns or guided missiles. I like the options with ring cannons because even though they're not as strong as lasers, they've got more surface area to hit enemies, which is perfect for me, because I can't aim to save my life. I mean, when I'm putting for hole 7 in minigolf, I'm just as likely to hit the ball in hole 8 somehow. Gradius 2 makes some welcome concessions over its predecessor as far as challenge is concerned, namely by offering unlimited continues. It's still crazy hard though. I was able to finish the game using Turbofire and save states, but when I tried playing with Turbofire only, I was only able to get as far as the boss rush. Curse that quad tendril ship in his tiny hitbox. It looked like I was fighting a monstrous mechanical synchronized swim team and felt like I was trying to thread a needle while spinning around a carousel. My favorite part of Gradius 2 is how it seems to dip its toes into strategy shooter territory, while still maintaining enough of its core gameplay that's somehow still fun, despite drying your eyes out for fear of getting killed by a stray bullet if you so much as blink. I also like how each level has its own gimmick to keep things fresh, which is weird coming from a guy who owns 7 of the same plain black t-shirt for every day of the week, but somehow Gradius 2 makes my brain register variety as a net positive. I'm a bit torn on what I would change in this game if I could, though. Part of me wishes there was more of a defined structure here, since Gradius 2 is like the shoot-'em-up equivalent of a run-on sentence, but when that sentence is full of such great content, you don't really mind when it rambles aimlessly from today's weather, to the evolution of pop music, to the meaning of life, to your favorite color of silly straw. Overall, Gradius 2 seems to have won itself a place among my favorite space shooters of all time, and as much as I fear the chaos of its lawless design, I can't help but keep coming back for more fire dragons, space gophers, and digitized voices shouting, "Laser! Laser! Laser!"